Hi there, I'm Ashwin Berry. I'll be covering for Priska Anyolo for a couple of days this week, but you are in good hands, and this is NMH at 1. We start off today's broadcast with footage shot by Elizabeth Joseph at Kitmanshoop, where Vice President Nangolo Mumba attended a Swapo meeting before the party's official rally yesterday. Ahead of this week's elections, the Vice President said no one in a position of power is in that position permanently, and that the focus should be on serving the people of Namibia. You must behave and you must deliver, Mumba said.
And the whole public service system. When we got tired of this thing, people thinking that they are permanent secretaries, that they are there, you can't do anything about them. Now we have a system of executive directors, given a term of 5 years to do and succeed and get renewed, or they could even be transferred from position where they are. Nobody is permanent. You are serving the people of Namibia, you must behave and you must deliver. You have certain economic activities to have. A lot of money was spent on Nectar Dam. But building a dam is one thing. Using the water of that dam to produce other things you can sell and get money, that is what is necessary. This is a region with a lot of mines, from diamonds to zinc, manganese, and so on. Let the money from that magazine, the money from diamond, benefit the people of the South. That is what the chiefs were telling me.
Thank you very much. Swapo sahalala. Swapo sahalala. Kara sahalala. Kitmanshoop sahalala. Viva Swapo, viva! Viva Kitmanshoop urban! Viva Kitmanshoop rural! Viva Karasburg! Viva Karasburg West! Viva Orange Moon! Viva Nomingus! Viva Vegetable! Aluta! Victoria! Thank you very much, comrades.
Next up, in a visit shot by Kenya Kambowe, All People's Party Secretary General Vincent Kanyetu reacts to news that the Rundu Town Council and Red Force Debt Management have entered into a settlement agreement which will allow the debt collector to resume its activities to recover over 450 million Namibian dollars from residents and institutions who defaulted on their accounts. Kanyetu said it is unfortunate it has come to this point and claimed that the council doesn't have an effective monitoring system in place. He added that come Wednesday, residents must make up their minds so that they don't have to vote these thugs into office again.
Mr. Kanyetu, can you briefly just tell us your reaction to the news that Rundu Town Council and Red Force entered into an agreement to allow Red Force to start collecting debt from the residents of Rundu? What is your take on that?
You see, it's very much unfortunate as we speak now. It's very much unfortunate that it has come to this stage whereby compulsory, we like it or not, we are going to fork out a couple of millions that will also end up in the coffins of Red Force. I mean, this being the result of bad decision taken by both the previous council and the executor, who's the current puppet of the Ministry of Urban and Rural Development, Mr. Kantema. This is what we have been saying from day one, that, I mean, if you really trust yourself and you trust your people who voted for you, you don't need a second party or a middleman to come and mediate between you and your residents. The council was supposed to resolve this issue by sitting down with the residents and see to it as to how to settle the debt that we owe NAM Water. One thing is that the council has from the day one not been having an effective monitoring system in place. You have a lot of pipe busting left, right and center. The council staff stealing equipments to come and collect illegal water. I mean, how are you not going to lose? You obviously lose. So therefore, our stand as a party, APP, is that we feel very, very sorry for the residents of Rundu. And this is why we are saying that come Tuesday, Wednesday, people must make up their mind to make sure that they don't vote these thugs back in office again. Because once they keep on voting them back in office, they are still going to take a bad decision that will affect their life come for 100 years to come. Thank you very much.
Okay, Mr. Kanyete, okay.
In your COVID-19 monitor today, according to the latest available data, Namibia has tested 135,505 people for COVID-19 by last Tuesday. Over the week up to the 17th of November, an average of just more than 900 individuals were tested daily. By Saturday, the country recorded a cumulative number of 13,865 cases, of which 95% have recovered. Active cases stood at just below 500, while 495 people were still in quarantine. Meanwhile, the total number of individuals quarantined since March is nearing the 20,000 mark. It is announced last night. A large group of 204 people was quarantined last Thursday, while 170 people were discharged from quarantine on the same day. Join us tomorrow for an update on contact tracing in the region. And we'll see you right after this ad. Welcome back. Moving along to a video shot by Okone Tlale in Windhoek, Affirmative Repositioning Movement lawyer Stanley Kavetu hands over a list of demands to the Secretary of the Judicial Service Commission, Uno Kashipuka Sibolile, regarding the appointment of the new Prosecutor General. The group has demanded transparency regarding the interviews for the position and has given the JSC a deadline up until 27 November to respond to their demands.
We are either we don't get a response, or we are addressed through a press release. That mentality needs to come to an end today at Alof Palmer Street. We give this submission and we expect these memorandums of demands to be tabled at the Judicial Service Commission meeting. And we are all humans here. We have given a deadline of 27 November. If such a deadline cannot be met, we expect a response, a written response from the Judicial Service Commission, setting out reasons why they are unable to meet such a deadline and by when they will give us a response. And maybe something we omitted in this document is also, we need to know how far you are with the recruitment process now. If you are going to give us a response by the 27th, we need to know how far is the recruitment process, and what you have undertaken in terms of our memorandums of demands. And that in shortly constitutes our memorandums of demand.
Thank you very much. If I may, please.
Before we give it. Yes, thank you very
And now, in a contributed video, Agriculture Minister Karl Schlattwein addressed farmers in the Omitara area of the Omaheke region. He said despite heavy state investment in green schemes across the country, none of the schemes are viable so far. Painting a bleak picture, the minister added that the country not only has issues with regards to livestock, but in crop production as well.
We have very serious issues in the crop production issue. And I can share them briefly with you. We have got 12 green schemes. The state invested heavily in them. We put all the infrastructure there. Pumping stations, pivots, booster pumps, tractors, planters, all the equipment. Everything was there. It's a program that cost us close to 2 billion. 12 green schemes. They have a surface area of 27,000 hectares under irrigation. During my visits now, I found that only 9,000 hectares is actually used for production. None of them are viable. If you look at the maize production figures for irrigated land, you should at least get something close to 10 tons per hectare. Their average is around 2. It is bad. So we do not only have issues in livestock, we also have issues in crop production. And that brings me to the last point maybe in agriculture, and that is we realized that we made some
We will now be moving on to our dailies, and in the NMH stable, Namibian Sun reports that Swapo leadership in the Zambezi region has demanded an apology from Presidential Press Secretary Alfredo Hengari. This over remarks Hengari made recently at that protests held across the country against the killing of Namibians by the Botswana Defense Force were pointless and misplaced. His utterances were deemed insensitive and inconsiderate given the office he serves, the Swapo regional leadership said. And we move over to the Republican, where the Republican reports that owners of commercial farms are expected to receive land tax assessments for the past 5 financial years early next year. The Namibia Agricultural Union said no land tax payments have been made over the past 5 years. Meanwhile, it has been proposed that landowners should be given more time to repay this tax. However, they have not received written feedback on this proposal. Moving over to the Allgemeine Zeitung, they report that 4 Chinese nationals who work at the Husab mine were threatened and robbed with pangas in Swakopmund on Friday. According to the Irongo region spokesperson Eleni Shapumba, the robbery took place in broad daylight at around 11 a.m. in Hidipo Hamutenya Street. This is according to the police spokesperson. The perpetrators grabbed a rucksack containing 55,150 Namibian dollars in cash and fled to Mondesa. One of the suspects was arrested shortly after the robbery, and 49,150 Namibian dollars as well as the weapons were seized. The Namibian reports that Chinese businesswoman Stinu Wu has received more than 200 plots at Oshakati. Former town council CEO Werner Ita has been accused of favoring Wu's company, where his son Sam, a civil engineer, works as a project controller. The company, First World Commercial Development, was allocated the plots to build low-cost houses. New Era reports that 87 bags of maize meal have been left to rot at Ben Hawanga Combined School in the Omusati region. This after parents reportedly refused to volunteer as cooks for the school feeding program because they say the principal has a bad attitude towards them and staff members. The maize meal subsequently had to be sold to pig farmers in the area. Moving on to the inside pages of the country's dailies, Namibian Sun reports that according to Independent Patriots for Change leader Dr. Panduleni Itula, government's 117 billion public debt means each Namibian, in principle, owes creditors an average of 45,000 Namibian dollars. He took issue with Namibia's elevated debt levels and questioned how the country has amassed 117 billion Namibian dollars in debt since independence. The Republican reports that a pregnant woman was allegedly strangled with a shoelace by her boyfriend on Thursday in Ocho, after which he hid her body under a bed. According to a police report, the 39-year-old deceased apparently told the suspect that he was not the father of her unborn child. The suspect, who was on bail on 2 unrelated charges of theft with aggravating circumstances and attempted murder, then hung himself in the same room. He also left a suicide note. The Namibian reports that according to political analysts, Swapo still has a chance to retain its regional control during this week's elections, despite the party being widely blamed for social ills in the country. While 18 political parties, 13 associations, and 92 independent candidates will be contesting at the polls, Swapo is still in a strong position to win due to the fragmented opposition vote, Institute for Public Policy Research Director Graham Hopwood said. Algemene Zeitung reports that construction has started on a modern maternity ward at the Swakopmund State Hospital. The new facility, valued at almost 27 million Namibian dollars, is set to be completed by February 2022. Prime Minister Sarah Amadila said the facility will make a difference in the region, especially with regards to newborn survival rates. The facility will consist of 28 beds, doctors' offices, and standby rooms. New Era reports that residents of the new Ombili informal settlement on the outskirts of Oshowarongo say they are tired of empty promises from politicians. While the municipality has allocated water points in the area, the community complains that they want private taps in their houses as they are forced to walk long distances to fetch water. Residents who have had to relieve themselves in nearby bushes also complained about the lack of sanitation facilities. And in other news, Namibian Sun reports that the president of the Namibian Women in Mining Association, Zenzi Awasis, has been selected as one of the 100 most inspirational women in the global mining industry. The women were selected for the 2020 edition of the United Kingdom's Women in Mining 100 Global Inspirational Women in Mining event, with 22 women selected from Africa. Well done, Zenzi. Republican reports that poet, playwright, and director Joseph Molapong expects political parties to change their attitude towards art. He added that if understood and appreciated, art can be a catalyst for change. Meanwhile, Brunilde Cornelius, the Republican Party's candidate for the Windhoek East constituency, says the party feels strongly about the continued protection and promotion of arts and culture. Those have been our news stories for today. I am here for just about the week covering for Priska Agnolo. But from me, Ashwin Berry, I just want to say that tomorrow, NMH at 1 is the place to be. See you then.